Καλώς ήρθατε στο GuitarSpot.Gr, όπου σήμερα βρισκόμαστε στο Telesound στο Γαλάτσι, που μαζί με τη Δίεση έχουν φέρει τον Nick Johnston στην Ελλάδα. Nick, welcome to Greece. What are you looking for?
Thank you very much. Yes, it's good to be here.
This is your first time in Greece.
First time to see the white blanket over the edge of the cliff. Just city as far as I could see from every direction.
I saw the Instagram story in the morning. Yeah. You're a bit unlucky though because it's raining and you're in Greece.
Yeah, well we got the morning we went to the Acropolis and it was fine. And it's fine now because we're inside.
Yeah.
And it's raining outside, so we're lucky. Everybody else is unlucky.
We're inside and we're in front of a wall of sectors, so we're...
Oh, we are too?
A lot luckier.
Look at that, and a beardless Nicky J.
Yeah.
I don't know who that guy is.
It's been quite a while since you were beardless, huh?
That was 2014. It's been a number of... 2015. When we first met, actually.
Yeah, in Music Messe. 2015, I think,
That was my first real European trip.
Yeah.
First one.
And it has been crazy for you ever since, huh?
It's been consistently chaotic.
You have been constantly on the move.
Yes, luckily.
Playing your music, participating in other people's amazing music, as well as a special guest.
You've
done many...
Yeah, lots of guest solos.
Many guest solos.
Lots of albums, lots of guitars, and lots of sleepless hotel room nights.
But you get to play your music for a living, but
it's good. It's good. It's cool. Very lucky to get to do that.
You also have an amazing new instrument out this year with Schecter. I don't know, I saw it around here. Oh, there it is.
Oh my gosh.
And in the most beautiful color ever.
Yeah, let me grab it.
I'm drooling over this color right now.
Well, this is the... Actually, when we first met, I would have had the first model, the silver one.
Exactly.
The first guy.
Yes.
Which was a little bit more simplified, a little bit more stripped down. And then it just kind of evolved into what we have here today. This is the 2019 version.
Introduced at the NAMM show this year.
Yeah, introduced at the NAMM show, and it's basically, in a lot of ways, it's kind of just keeping with the tradition of the previous two, the green one and the white one we did. But it's got new pickups, which I was surprised you knew about the form bar stuff.
Of course I did.
That's very cool.
I'm a guitar nerd.
You're the nerd.
Yeah,
you are
exactly.
a nerd. No, I'm just kidding. You're the guitar nerd. And it has a nitro finish now where you can see, if you look, all the checking.
Yes.
We'll get some beauty shots of that a little later on.
That's amazing.
Some Instagram model shots of it. Posing on maybe the cliff or doing a selfie in a well-lit bedroom.
You should have brought it with you at the Acropolis earlier today.
Oh,
you missed the opportunity.
That would have been pretty funny, just up there like, with the city behind me. Maybe next time. Maybe in June when I'm back, but I don't think I'm going to be here. And then, it's great. It's got a wenge neck, ebony. Actually, that's one thing people always ask. What is the neck? Is it rosewood? It's not rosewood.
Ebony.
It's not rosewood. It's a ebony fingerboard and a wenge neck. And if you feel it, I don't know if you've checked it out, but you can see the grain. It's
that's amazing.
Very open pour.
Yes.
Very, very natural feeling.
Very natural feeling.
That was my signature logo burned in the back, so you can't get away from me, even if you wanted to.
And very natural sounding.
Yeah.
And I was checking out your guitar this year at the NAMM show, and your pickups are lower output pickups,
lower
right?
Output this time.
Because you want to be able to hit it harder.
Yeah, I wanted something a little bit more, dare I say, and it's cliched as heck to say this, but something more vintage, something more retro, but played with, kind of a more modern gain structure. Like when I play through an amp, it's a little bit more modern sounding. It's not an American sounding amp. It's usually more British or more modern sounding. So having those two worlds come together, and then playing instrumental music with the harmony that I like, that I choose, and the type of production I like, it's a pretty, at this point, it's a pretty Nick Johnston combination now, I guess.
Yeah.
After doing 5 albums. New album out on Friday, April 19th, actually. And this was used on that, and it's well, if you look, I have a gig bag right, well, it's buried over there. But this is how I travel. I don't bring multiple guitars with me. I don't worry about breaking strings. I don't worry about intonation issues. And if I ever had to, I have the truss rod at the base of the neck now.
Yes. It's very accessible for you to adjust it.
Very accessible, and the reason being because of all the climate change. I live in Canada too, so it's really hot, humid, really cold and dry, and wood is confused by that. I don't really worry about that. This guitar is what you would call a workhorse, but it's also a very beautiful high-end instrument.
It is. I'd like you to say a few things about the pickups, if you don't mind, because what you guys have done with the formvar wiring, the Fender stock that they bought out.
Yeah, we got all the remaining kind of.
Yeah, how did this came about? I mean, was it your decision?
Well, we wanted to. When I say we, it was myself and he was the head of the custom shop, a guy named John Gadesi. And he kind of was heading up all the projects for a long time. We had talked about doing another pickup because the last one I used in the first 3 guitars.
Yes.
It was great. But it was just the spirit of change. Let's try something new. And the music I was writing was changing, and it was less guitar-ish and more band-oriented, more orchestration and more composition. So I wanted something that maybe didn't get in the way of every other instrument as much. Especially when I play live, I like to have everything blended, so it sounds like everything's working together versus the guitar and then everything else behind. I want it all to be like a crowd working together.
Right.
You know,
So
some of it's parts basically, right?
They help you blend in the mix better, right?
It just yes, but it also helps with the dynamics. If I have the same volume but I pick a little softer, it's easy for me to artificially bring the volume down just by playing a little lighter because there's so much headroom, there's so much more dynamic range. They are lower output, like you said. It's the formvar
wiring, yeah.
Yeah, the wiring. John basically was able to get his hands on the remaining stock, which is when he told me that I was like, who'd you have to kill to do that? Yeah. But him and being who he was and his connections and just what he knows, he's made guitars for everybody. He's made pickups for everybody.
And they're using the specific wiring only for your signature pickup now?
Yes. It's going just to the newest version, 2019 version.
You're one lucky dude.
Very lucky, yeah, very very lucky. And
I mean, you're a kind of player that uses dynamics very much.
Yeah, and I'm always using the tone knob.
Yeah, and you change pickups all the time, but you do it like, I mean, it's kind of a cliche to say that you have to use your fingers and dynamics to change the sound of your guitar. You are one of the players who make this so apparent during this playing.
Oh wow, thank you very much. Well, I think the reason I do that is because of just the nature of for lack of a better term, of the Strat, of the single coil pickups. They are so unique, and each one of them is its own. It's basically you have 3 microphones in your guitar. Exactly. And with humbuckers, I find if you switch the pickup, it does a lot. Of course, it does a lot, but it's a little bit more compressed. And it's a little bit more square wave. Like the top end's kind of missing a little bit. Whereas the single coil, especially these ones. It's a vowel sound. You change that pickup, and it literally the envelope of that note. It sounds like a different pitch almost sometimes.
Yeah.
So I use that, and also a lot of times I have to specifically end on an out of phase pickup to get rid of the 60 cycle hum. So you're really playing with the artifacts of 60 cycle hum, of out of phase, with the noise in the room, with. The amount of treble in the back pickup, sometimes I have to roll it back to sound more like the middle, but if it's on the middle and you roll it back, it sounds too warm. So you're always playing, you're thinking too in the moment, like, oh, I want that, and I want that. So you're playing with the instrument and the guts of the control of the instrument versus just hitting fingers. Neither approach is better, it's just how
You're improvising in another level as well by doing that.
Yeah, I guess your sound... Sounds really pretentious, but your sound designing, I guess.
Research. Yeah. For the Nick Johnston era, I mean, Sector have been around for ages, and they are a huge company and well-respected company, but many people had them related with heavier sound, more of
myself included.
Metal-oriented instruments. But you come around and you're using a Strat, basically.
Yeah.
But
wait, this is a Les Paul. What are you talking about?
How did you decide to use a? I mean, you were using a Strat before.
Yeah. How did I decide to go back to it, or to
how do you decide to go to do a Strat with Sector? I mean, for them, it was a bold move at the time because they had to come into this world of.
Well, yeah. I mean, they were more known for stuff like this, or for Keith's guitar, for Jeff's guitar at the time, and Sinister Gates, and Papa Roach, and all these Warped Tour bands and Seether and all these guys and Disturbed, Dan Donegan.
It was a bold move that actually it turned out to be a huge success because this is not just another Strat. I mean,
no, it seems to be going pretty well. Well, I was using when I was a kid a lot of Strats, and then when I started playing my music with a band, I started using Ibanez guitars and carving guitars, and I had a Les Paul at one point. And then one day at a band practice, I was playing an Ibanez, and I broke a string. And we're like, shit, I don't have a guitar now, so what are we gonna do? And in the band, the rehearsal space, we were sharing with another band. Right. The guy had left his Sunburst Strat, and the drummer said, "Why don't you just use that? We can keep doing the practice." And I picked it up and I plugged it in. And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right." And then we played through one of the songs, and both the bass player and the drummer, bass player, guitar player, and the drummer, they were just like, "You sound so much better on a Stratocaster. You just sound better. You sound more interesting, and you can hear your hands more." And because I don't play with a ton of gain, like it depends on the situation. You can just hear. You can hear your mistakes more, which is sometimes really cool. I think people would disagree with that. Maybe you can hear hesitation, or you can hear strength, or you can hear decision making happening. And then I wanted to go back to that. I wanted to go back to that as an evolution versus playing a guitar with humbuckers, where it was more a sense of flavor of gain versus this. It's more of a flavor of like hearing that part of the pickup, or hearing the top end and hearing the bottom, or how you're going to blend the volume knob with the tone knob. It was more of a 3D kind of thing, I guess, than an output type of thing. Right. And especially with the way my music goes, it's usually one sound that I have, and I just play with that one sound. And then because I was using a Strat, when I was offered a job endorsement with Schecter, what do you have in terms of a Strat? And they said, well, we have this custom shop that hasn't really been doing it. They were doing stuff with it, of course, but it wasn't super in the limelight with Schecter. So I said, or we talked, like, what do you have closest to what I have now? Right. And they sent me what's called the Traditional, which is their S-type guitar, and I used that on a couple tours with them, and then they offered me the signature model, and then it started off with the green Masterbuilt one. They're like, what do you want? And I posted a picture of it years ago, and people were like, wow, that's really cool. I didn't realize Schecter was doing that, and then just been kind of, and it's not easy to convince people. There's a lot of these types of guitars. It's not easy to convince somebody, especially when someone still looks at a Suhr or a Tom Anderson or a Fender, custom shop Fender, that's the standard, and those are great guitars. Yeah, like, I'm not, guitars. Of course,
they're different guitars.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good stuff. But when you get it, if you get a chance to try one, you realize it's a contender. It's a really great guitar. I mean, for what it's worth, it's good enough for me. That's for sure.
I mean, you're a guy who's self-taught. You haven't had any shortcuts, no teachers, stuff like that.
No, I've had a couple like little kind of mentor people around, just helping out with stuff and answering questions. And I joined a band with people that were much older than me, and I played styles of music I was really uncomfortable with. And
yeah, but you learned music in the heat of the battle. This is what I'm trying to get to.
Sorry,
and how involved are you in research and development of your instrument with Schecter?
Every year, yeah, we try and do something. I mean, for example, this year was the pickups, and we did the nitro with the Wembley style checking and size of the neck and neck woods. And
this is going to look so much more even more beautiful after some sweat goes on it. Even though you don't have this type of sweat, we know. Yeah,
I don't have the alien sweat. I don't have the Jeff Loomis sweat. If this was his, this would be all worn out by now.
It's going to be more and more beautiful. And you plug straight into an amp, right?
Yeah. Tonight I'm going to be using whatever the Boogie supplied for me, and then I've been experimenting with a couple of distortion pedals. Right now I have that MXR of the Van Halen one. I'm going to try that tonight.
Awesome.
And then just maybe a little bit of delay, depending on how this room sounds. It's pretty. You can hear the reverb. I might not need it because it's pretty open. Except when we get some meat in here, then maybe that'll change.
And
so yeah, pretty simple setup.
you mentioned that this is the first time you came to Greece, but you're going to be back really soon in June. You're participating in Gus G's Guitar Weekend Apocalypse with Andy James and Mike Dawes. We also had an interview with Mike Dawes a few years ago, and he showed us his rig. And how did this happen? Did you get an invitation from our guy, from Gus?
What happened? I think Gus emailed me maybe 2 months ago, and he just asked if I wanted to come and do this event. We'd been in touch. I think we had originally talked about a year ago about trying to do some tour, a U.S. West Coast tour or something like that. It just didn't work out. And then we just kind of kept in touch. You know, on Instagram, everybody knows each other. Yeah. Just like photos and comment and all that pointless bullshit. And then he just emailed me, said, "Do you want to do this event?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." So it's a really short, I think it's just 2 days. Andy's on that and Mike's on that. I don't know Andy, I've never met Andy. Mike, I've done some, I played on one of his songs.
Yeah.
Did a video with him. Mike's a good guy, I know him really well. Gus, I don't know very well at all. I've only ever talked to him online. So it'll be an interesting...
It will be very interesting. It is an amazing facility in Kavala, nice. Nemesis Guitar School.
It's nice, cool.
And
that's great.
I think it's going to be a blast. Set aside your new record.
Yeah.
Which is called...
Wide Eyes in the Dark. It's going to be out on Friday, April 19th. It's going to be weird because I'll be in California. I have a release show because I'm from Toronto.
Right.
And the tour, it started, I was in California for a couple of days staying with the Schechter guys, and then I flew to Frankfurt for the Music Messe, and then I've been on this tour 2.5, 3 weeks. Then I end in California with that show for the release, and then I go back home and start the damage control of, you know, a new album comes out, you got to be there to make sure everything is doing what it needs to do, and I'll freak out for a little bit, and then I'll be home for a week, and then I go away again and repeat the cycle.
Everything is going to keep being crazy for you.
Yeah, I hope to get a better handle on it, though. You know, as you get a little bit older, you realize what you want out of this career, especially when stuff is kind of self-powered. You know, I don't rely on anybody to do anything, so it's nice I can start to make some decisions now that are a little bit more catered around, you know, being home, leaving, being home, having a relationship or having friends or developing, doing things you need to do for your own health. And it's no longer about go out for a month, come home, get back out for a month. I'm not interested in that anymore. I'm more interested in when I'm ready to go and I want to go, I will go. But there's still that whole thing of being, you know, home for too long and you lose your mind. Right. You're going to get out there again. So it's a fine balance. I haven't found it yet, but getting there.
I have one last question for you. I mean, we mentioned that things for you have been very busy, very crazy. Your playing has always been distinctive, and you brought yourself to the situation that you are now with your music and your own hard work. How difficult is it for you, for any person knowing success nowadays with the social media and stuff like that, like the bullshit that we mentioned before? Yeah. How difficult is it to keep to you know a Greek word?
That's the word I know.
Yeah, you're actually you're of Greek origin, somewhat.
Yeah, somewhere at some point, somewhere in, I think, in this vein.
You have to know more Greek words then.
I'll get on it.
Yeah.
I'll be back in the summer, full Greek, full language.
How difficult is it for you to keep things original and keep things with the fans original? I mean, people, they think that they know you from your music, and they approach you in a way that is like, even though you've never met them, you know, how do you cope with that? How do you try to keep things original?
I don't think about that at all. Basically, I spent the first 25, 27 years of my life with zero success. So it never felt like I had success, and still doesn't feel like I have success. So it's been, if you were to chart my career, it was like this. Okay, the first 20 odd years, pre-albums, like this. And then, first album came out, second album came out, third album came out. Fourth album came out. Here we are. Like, it's been such a slow incline that I don't think about it. It's if I thought about that, or if anybody thinks about that, I think you notice it in how they handle themselves. I think it stops being about what it should be about, and that is just making music and working.
Staying loyal to you and keeping consistent with your work, right?
Yeah, exactly. And even there, like I don't even know. I don't know. I just do what I do,
Right.
and I want to keep doing it, and I want to travel, and I've already done more than I ever thought I would get to do. So if I see it like that, everything is a bonus. And if I keep thinking that way, I can't believe I'm here. Or I'm lucky to get to do this. Nobody owes me anything. Music doesn't owe me anything. Music doesn't owe you anything. It's just lucky this is happening.
Awesome.
And then you stay in that same mentality that like I've always had. I need to play guitar. I need to write music. It's because I've spent my life developing that, and I can't not do it. And if I am self-aware, I've already written this piece, this has been done, I don't want to do this again, then you're fine. You just don't do the same thing over and over again. It's easy to do that. And then you have people around you to go, that's shit. And you go, oh, okay. Malakas, once again.
Thank you very much for taking the time for this interview. We're looking forward for the clinic tonight.
Nikos and Nick.
Yeah, easy to remember.
Or Nikos and Nick, I don't know.
And we're also looking forward for your return here in Kavala in MS's Guitar School with Gus G and Andy James and Mike Dawes. And we wish you the best, my friend. Hope to see you back soon.
Oh, let's try that again.
All right.
Yeah.
That was a better sound. Για περισσότερες συνεντεύξεις, παρουσιάσεις μουσικού εξοπλισμού και online μαθήματα, επισκεφτείτε το GuitarSpot.Gr. Μαλάκας.